Today's video is chapter 4. That's right, we're starting chapter 4. And we're going to do lessons 1B and 1C. 1B is about the distributive property, and 1C is about combining like terms. Okay. All right, so distributive property is going to look like this. It's going to have a number outside of some parentheses, and inside the parentheses, you're going to have something like 6x plus 4, 2x minus 9. So what this 2 is saying is that you have two of these. You have 6x plus 4 and another 6x plus 4. Okay, so you could write it out like this. But really, what if this number was 12 or 20 or negative 6? Like, we're not going to want to write this out every time. So we're going to need another strategy that's going to work for us every single time. So let's stick with the small number 2, and then we'll work our way up to bigger numbers. So the strategy is you take the number on the outside and you multiply it by the number right here. 2 times 6 is 12. Then you take that 2 and you multiply it by the number in the back. So I end up with 12x plus 8. 2 6x's would make 12x's, and 2 4's would make an 8. That way, if you have a bigger number like 12, we don't want to have to write that out like we said. You're going to multiply 12 times the first number. You're going to multiply 12 times the second number. 12 times 6 is 72. You just write the x. He doesn't go anywhere. He doesn't disappear, but you don't actually do anything with him. 12 times 4 is 48. All right, try to work these 3 questions out before I say the answer. 3 times 6x is 18x. 3 times 9 is 27. Try working the second one out before I say the answer. 4 times 7 is 28, so I write 28x. 4 times negative 8 is negative 32. 28x minus 32. Try the last one before I say it. 8x plus 56. This is like having a 1. 8 times 1 is 8. Let's take a look at these. These all have a negative out in front. So these had positive numbers. I did a plus, a minus, and a plus on the inside, but I had all positive numbers here. The negatives kind of throw students for a loop. I'll be honest with you, it's kind of a little goofy. Okay, so what I want you to think is this is a negative 6. This is a positive 4. A negative 6 and a positive 4, one negative is negative. Okay, here's the hardest part. This 9 is a positive 9. So what do I get when I multiply a negative 6 times a positive 9? I get a negative 54. So I write minus 54. Since he was a negative 54, I have to draw a subtraction sign. Okay, next one. I've got a negative 5 times a positive 3. What's that going to equal? Negative 15. Negative 15 with an x. Now I've got a negative 5 times a negative 4. That subtraction sign is attached to the 4. So in green, he's a negative 4. And a negative 5 makes a positive 20. Positive 20. Okay, a negative 3 times a negative 2. What's that going to be? Positive 6x. A negative 3 and a positive 7. One negative, one positive makes a negative. So it's a negative 21. 6x minus 21. Okay, and this last one, I've got a negative times a negative. That makes a positive. And I've got a negative times a negative, and that equals a positive. 12x plus 16. All right, try these 4 questions. Push pause, work them out, hit play again, and see if you're right. All right, how'd you do? Check them over, see if you got them right. Negative 7, positive 4 makes negative 28. Negative 7, positive 9, negative 63. Positive 3 and a negative 2 multiply to get a negative 6. Positive 3 times a negative 3. Oh, I did that one wrong. Shoot. Okay, this should be a minus. All right, negative 5 times a negative 5 is a positive 25. Negative 5 times a positive 1 is negative 5. 2 times 1 is 2. 2 times negative 8 is negative 16. All right, your next homework, the next section is combining like terms, combine for 1C. So I've got a question that looks like this. 5x plus 8 plus 2x plus 7. I can only add and subtract if they match. So I can add these x's, 5x's and 2x's would make 7x's. And then I can add numbers that don't have letters. 8 plus 7 is 15. And then I'm done. I can't actually do anything. This does not make 22x. This has an x. This does not have an x. You cannot combine them if they don't match. Okay, let's try another question. Let's try 3x plus 10 minus x minus 8. Okay, these minus signs are attached to whatever's right behind it. This minus sign is attached to whatever's right behind it. If I color code, I think what I'll do is put a box around it this time. 3x minus an x, that's like a 1. 3x's minus 1x, I would be left with 2 x's. 10 minus 8 is 2. And since it's a positive 2, I have to actually write plus 2. If it was a negative 2, I'd write minus 2. That plus sign is also a positive sign. So I can add and subtract these, and I can add and subtract these because they are the same term, the same kind of term. Okay, let's try another one. Negative 6x plus 2y minus 4x minus 9y. This guy matches this guy. Notice how I included the minus sign because that's attached to the 4x. A negative 6 and a negative 4x. If it helps, let's write it beside each other. That would be negative 10x. Okay, and then color code these. I've got plus 2y minus 9y. 2y's minus 9y's makes negative 7y's. 2 minus 9 is negative 7. So I'm able to add and subtract x's, add and subtract y's, but once I get down to this point, I can't do anything with them. Okay, we have some vocabulary. We need to learn what coefficient means. We need to learn what constant means. And we need to learn what term means. Coefficients are numbers before letters. They're the numbers that are smushed together. So 6 is a coefficient and 4 is a coefficient. If this had said minus 4y, then the negative would also be part of that coefficient. We would have a coefficient of 6 and a coefficient of negative 4. The constant is numbers that have no letter attached to them. So my 8 back here is a constant. Terms, I like to call them chunks. 1 chunk, 2 chunks, 3 chunks. Anytime you get to a minus or a plus sign, that says we're about to start a new chunk, a new term. So this question had 3 terms. All right, here are your Google Classroom questions. Type in the answers to these 3 questions. Distribute the 4 to the 3x minus 6. Type in what your answer would look like. And type in your answer to this pink one. And combine like terms and type in your answer to that one. All right, good luck.